If you've ever seen Kent Hovind debate, you'll already know that he's willfully ignorant and repetitive, and there is absolutely no point in engaging with him. He's still using the same slides from 30 years ago, and he always says exactly the same thing. In fact, if I did have to point out one thing that seems to have gotten worse, it's his fashion sense. He's got a collection of Hawaiian shirts that even Glenn Quagmire would be envious of.
Giggity.
So in today's video, I, the creaky blinder, not the creepy blind man as Kent likes to call me because he's a comedy genius,
Well, ha ha ha.
will be taking a look at Mr. Hovind, because he's not a real doctor either, replying to my friend Emma Thorne, pointing out to Kent that Genesis 1 got the order of creation wrong. So strap on that facepalm protection and prepare yourself for some of the most ridiculous arguments you have ever heard in your life. Please subscribe.
So, Miss Emma, I made a challenge to her. I said, she claims there are scientific errors in the Bible. I said, would you show me one? So I'm going to go to her, let's see, right here. And her whole program was 33 seconds long.
Yeah, Emma's a smart girl and probably didn't think it was worth wasting any more time on you, and to be fair, when you're as wrong as you always are, Ken, 33 seconds was probably overkill on Emma's part.
And you said, you can't believe the Bible contains contradictions to science? Emma, I'm challenging you to show me a contradiction the Bible has to real science.
Well, considering that the Bible is nothing more than mythology and fairy tales, I would imagine that there is a lot of contradiction in there, and not just the science. But we will stay on topic and let the lovely Emma have her say.
Okay, Kent in his dissertation talks about how the first 11 chapters of Genesis are what make or break the Bible. It's his favorite bit, he's obsessed with it, that's why he does all this creationist stuff. So let's just stay purely in Genesis. Genesis literally gets the order of creation wrong. God creates the earth before the sun, moon, and stars. I think even most Christians would probably agree with me that the sun and the stars were there quite a while before the earth was.
Now, before we let Kent have his say, which I'm sure will all be completely relevant and original, I think it's worth pointing out that most people, when asked a question they believe they have a good answer for, they like to get to the point and prove the other person wrong as quickly as possible. But, of course, with Kent being Kent, he takes us off on a huge tangent that has pretty much nothing at all to do with anything Emma said.
And you said, you can't believe the Bible. That's it, huh? Okay. Well, Emma, let's talk about that for just a minute. Let's see, right here.
Okay, so while Kent tries to figure out how to open his beloved PowerPoint presentation, you will remember that what Emma pointed out is that Genesis 1 got the order of creation wrong, and Kent actually agreed with her. Not about it being wrong, because of course the Bible is never wrong for somebody like Ken, but in his video debunking Emma's response, he doesn't debunk anything she says. In fact, he barely even addresses any of it.
Emma, I challenged her and said, show me a scientific contradiction in the Bible. She said, the sun was made and stars were made before the earth. Really, okay?
Yeah, really. Now, if, as you say, Kent, Genesis 1 and the Bible in general is to be taken literally, then Emma has a perfectly valid point. Because Genesis 1 does say that God created the earth before the sun, moon, and the stars, and you go on to agree with her. So how exactly is your response doing anything other than showing the people who have seen your video how completely ridiculous you are?
Emma seems to be obsessed with death and skeletons. Let's see. Coffins and skeletons and real snowmen.
Oh, right. Now I could just call this video done, because Kent's opening statement is about her Christmas jumper and has got nothing at all to do with anything Emma said. And anyone who's familiar with this awful human being, whose existence alone proves that if God did create man, he must be sick in the head, will be more than aware that he just can't resist taking a jab at the person he thinks he's debunking. He calls me creepy blind man. I can see perfectly. Well, I can see, instead of just calling me creaky. But anyway, the observation was that Genesis 1 got the order of creation wrong. So any chance we may hear you say something about that, Ken?
You said Genesis gets the order of creation wrong. God creates the earth before the sun, moon, and stars. That's correct. That's what the book says.
Are you all right? I just thought I'd better check you were okay. Because I know it's not often that we hear Kent say somebody else is right. Look, I care about you all. What can I say?
Made the earth first. She said, I think even most Christians would probably agree with me that the sun, the moon, the stars, were there quite a while before the earth was. Really.
Well, yes. I mean, how can you possibly argue otherwise? You are well documented as saying that the biblical account of creation from Genesis 1 is 100% accurate and should be taken completely literally. Are we about to see a change of position from Ken? Well, I wouldn't hold your breath. He is about to go off on a tangent that is so far removed from anything Emma said. The only reason I can come up with is that he's hoping that if he waffles on for long enough about other things, then the people watching him will have forgotten the original point, because that seems to be Ken's MO.
Well, Emma, you've just committed the fallacy, the argument from ad populum. In other words, everybody believes it, therefore it must be true.
All right, Ken, calm down. There's no need to whip out your little black book of fallacies this early in the video. Ooh, Emma committed argumentum ad populum. What a douche canoe. And what a stupid thing to say. Just because something is popular, it doesn't mean it's true. Yeah, that's quite right. But what we know about the origins of the universe has nothing to do with popularity. It has to do with what we have learned through science and the observation those fields of science have made. And to say that the Big Bang didn't happen is completely insane. We can see it, you clown. A microwave telescope can see the ancient light from the beginning of the universe. And that isn't an opinion, it's a fact.
This is a logical fallacy that you should study in college. One who commits this fallacy may assume that individuals commonly analyze and edit their beliefs and behaviors based on majority opinion.
Yeah, but that isn't what Emma's doing. She's pointing out the huge problem for young Earth creationist bozos like you in your most cited evidence, Genesis 1. It has nothing to do with it being popular opinion, because it isn't an opinion at all. It's based on real scientific discovery and observations. But while we're on the subject of lots of people believing something is true based on its popularity, what other evidence is there to support your insane ideas about how the universe and Earth in particular came into existence outside of the Bible?
That's what you've done. You've chosen to believe something based upon majority opinion.
No, we haven't. And FYI, belief doesn't come into it. We haven't chosen to accept something based on the overwhelming amount of supporting evidence.
There are all kinds of logical fallacies people commit. What you've done is both of these, Emma. The bandwagon, appealing to popularity, or the fact that many people do something as an attempt to validate it. The fact that many people believe the earth came after the sun, therefore must be true in your mind, okay?
The bandwagon fallacy. That's a very interesting one, isn't it? Why do you and the morons that follow you, because that's what they are, and I'm not going to apologize for thinking that either. Anyone who believes anything you say is a gullible idiot and deserve to be mocked as much as possible. But why do you and those people believe what you believe? Is it because of the evidence, or because there are a lot of you all telling each other that this thing is true and then laughing and patting each other on the back because you think you're all right and that the entire science community is wrong? No, there's a bandwagon fallacy for you, Kent.
Or appeal to authority. Well, scientists believe, the earth was evolved after the sun.
First of all, scientists don't believe anything that can't be demonstrated to them using evidence or proof. Young Earth creationists, on the other hand, believe every single word written down in a storybook and seem not to care at all about the truth. And it's got nothing to do with authority. It has to do with knowing that these people spent years and years studying and learning these things to avoid, where possible, any errors that can or could occur. But interestingly enough, real scientists are more than happy to say, that thing we said was 100% accurate. Well, it turns out we were wrong, and we need to do a little bit more research to either confirm or debunk our own point. When have we ever heard a young Earth creationist say something that honest? I'll tell you when. Never.
Appeal to authority, using the opinion or position of an authority figure, or an institution. Like they teach this at Harvard or Princeton or Yale, or Cambridge. Got to be true.
Well, no, it hasn't got to be true, but the likelihood of those schools teaching things which are factually based is far greater than anything that comes out of your mouth.
Well, the Bible says very clearly, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. He said he made space and earth first.
Space and earth. No, he didn't. What the hell am I saying? I just looked at Genesis 1 and I can see No mention of space. What it actually says is that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So are we now claiming that space is heaven? Or am I misunderstanding you, Ken? Or are you just trying to skew this in your favor? Otherwise known as frantically scrambling around trying to make what Emma said fit your narrative. Which it doesn't. It actually illustrates a huge hole in your argument.
And then he made the stars. Later, he said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night." And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. This is on day 4.
Quick question. Why jump from chapter 1 straight to 14? More diversion tactics, Ken? And none of this has got anything to do with anything Emma said in her video. Now, if I was a skeptical man, I would think that you were deliberately trying to divert attention away from the fact that you have absolutely no clue how to address Emma's point.
So to rule over the day and over the night, to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the 4th day. So Emma, you are correct. The Bible teaches God made the earth and then the stars.
Ah, right. My bad. I have never actually seen anyone trying to debunk an argument by agreeing with it. This is an interesting tactic, Kent. Even for you.
But you said you think all Bible-believing Christians probably agree with you. I think all Bible-believing Christians would agree with me.
Well, yeah, you would, wouldn't you? But sadly, Ken, no, they wouldn't. Young Earth creationists? Maybe. But other Christians? No. I can promise you that you're wrong. From what I've seen of the average Christian, they're just trying to go about their life minding their own business, and while I disagree with them about their belief in God, I've got no issues with it. As long as it makes them happy and they keep it to themselves, that's fine. Put a poll up on your channel, Kent, asking Christians only if the Earth is 6,000 years old or 4.5 billion years old. I think the results may surprise you. And notice I said Christians and not other young Earth creationists, because they're not going to be biased at all, are they?
That the Bible is quite clear that the earth was made before the sun and stars. That's what it says. It says in Job 26, he stretched out the heavens, stretched out the north over the empty place. He stretched it out. 17 times in the Bible it says God stretched out the heavens. He made the earth and then the stars and stretched them out into place.
Nobody cares, and none of this is relevant to anything Emma addressed. You've already agreed with her that she's right and that the order of creation in Genesis 1 is wrong, so why are you digging yourself into an even deeper hole? This is a perfect example of why people laugh at you and have zero respect, plus a few other questionable things that you may or may not have done, allegedly.
Says that in Isaiah 40, Isaiah 42, he stretched out the heavens. Isaiah 45, you can count. It says, God counts the number of the stars and gives names to all of them. The current estimate is that everybody on Earth can own 11 trillion stars to yourself.
Well done. You can read. And whilst this is all incredibly fascinating stuff, we came here to see you prove Emma wrong. Any chance we can get to that soon?
God's named them all. Like, no big deal. There's a lot of stars out there. Question: do galaxies follow the Fibonacci sequence?
Well, that's maths, and once again, has absolutely nothing at all to do with the point Emma made. Kent, this is getting old, like you. Are you ever going to actually accept the fact that you've been tied up in knots and have absolutely no clue how to unravel that knot? Don't panic, there's nothing wrong with the video. But he spent the next 10 minutes giving examples of where the Fibonacci sequence fits. And I'm not going to disagree with him, mainly because I can't be bothered. It's an interesting maths topic, but it's got naff all to do with why Genesis 1 got the order of creation wrong. Now, attempting to redirect the argument to another issue, to which the person doing the redirecting can better respond, and whilst that is similar to the avoiding the issue fallacy, the red herring is a deliberate diversion of attention with the intention of trying to abandon the original argument. Yay me. See? I can quote fallacies as well, Ken. Oh my word, I'm good to you lot. Yeah, he just spent another 8 minutes banging on about stars coming and going, and it was so boring. So I cut it out, because it was all completely irrelevant. Dare I say, a series of red herring. But anyway, I think I found the part where he gets back to Emma. So let's rejoin this dumpster fire and see how he gets on.
Wake up, stop and think. Emma, the Bible clearly teaches the earth was made first.
My word, that's what she's saying, you ridiculous little man. How could it have been made first? Okay, look, let's say we humour you and say, fine, God made the earth. No, he didn't. Where the was it if there wasn't space there for it to be in? That's all that's being asked, and you clearly don't have an answer, because in your 22-minute and 41.22 second long video response to Emma, you have not addressed a single point she made, and she's only made one.
You are calling God a liar.
A what now? A liar? Naughty, naughty Emma, is that what you're doing?
No, I wasn't calling God a liar because, you know, not real. So, Ken, why exactly did Genesis 1 get it wrong? Because I don't think you ever actually told me in this video.
Yeah, Kent, why did Genesis 1 get the order of creation wrong? Don't rush. I know you're getting on a bit. We'll wait. And while we do wait, you may as well watch some more of my videos. I've got loads of them. Thanks for watching, you stinking atheists. Love you, bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.